What's going on, everyone? It is Josh Guerrero here, and welcome to the All Around Adventure Podcast. Whether you're joining me for the first time or you've been listening to the podcast for a while now, I certainly do want to welcome you here. And as always, I want to thank you for being here today, just because I know that you're busy and that your time is important and that you got a lot going on, but it just means so much to me that you've chosen to download this podcast or tune into the video on YouTube, and I greatly appreciate it, and I certainly don't take it for granted. Now, if you are in fact new to this podcast and you're not entirely sure what we're all about here, this is a show where you hear amazing tales from afar and get the all-important life lessons that go along with them. And those will be stories from myself as well as the amazing guests that I welcome on this podcast. But in this episode, you have me today. This is solocast. Don't really have a fancy name for these solo casts like I used to in the past. I just like to take about 10, 15 minutes just to kind of share, like I said, my own stories, my own insights, and my own thoughts. And hopefully they can provide some value to you all, and you can extrapolate some things that you could take going into your week. So I usually don't keep these scripted. Every now and then I'll write up maybe some bullet points that I may want to bring up and talk about, but more often than not, I'm just kind of firing from the hip on these. So today I want to talk about my morning routine, and I feel like this is a good topic to bring up because starting the day on a good note just kind of sets a precedent for what the rest of your day is going to look like. So I think having a good, solid morning routine could be a good way to ensure that. However, I feel like a lot of people maybe overcomplicate this a little bit, and they try to throw so much into their morning routines, and they seem very big and elaborate. Like I see people talk about doing things like red light therapy, sauna, then they're doing the ice baths, and they'll meditate for like 30 minutes and so on and so forth, which is great and all. I mean, if it works for them, it works for them. However, I like to take a little bit more of a simplistic approach there's like just three things that I like to do every single morning. And these are things that really don't require a whole lot of tools. And I could do these like anywhere. It'd be nice if I had like, a sauna and an ice bath and all this like other stuff too. And I'm sure maybe someday I'll probably acquire those, but I can't take those with me if I'm traveling and staying in hotels or if I'm, having to go away for work and this, that, and the other. But the three things that I do in my own morning routine are things that I could do anywhere because, like I said, they're just short, sweet, and simple, and they help me get my day started on a good note. So today I want to share the three things that I do with you all, and maybe you might consider implementing these into your own morning routine if you have not done so already. So let's go ahead and get on into this, and I'll share each one of them with you all now. And I will say that these are probably going to go in order as to how I do these. At least numbers 1 and 2 are in order. Number 3 really could fall at any point into my morning routine. It could probably come first, and sometimes it does, or it may come last. It really just sort of all depends on how everything falls into place. So let's start with number 1. Now, the first thing that I do above anything else is hydration. When you wake up, you are in a dehydrated state, so it is imperative that you get some water in your system right away just to kind of help everything get flowing. And so I usually have my 1 liter clean canteen full of water, filtered water too. I don't just put water straight from the tap. I run it through a Brita pitcher first, or I get it through the filter on my refrigerator. And I keep that by my bedside. And the moment my feet touch the floor, I'm reaching for that bottle and I'm drinking the entire thing right away. And sometimes I'll also, and this is actually something I do more often than not, is I like to have an electrolyte drink mix immediately after. And I don't really have any particular brand or company that I use for electrolyte drink mixes. There's a lot of good ones out there, and it seems like more and more supplement companies are really grasping onto the importance of good hydration, and they're inventing their own hydration mixes. But one that I really like in particular is Jocko Fuel, Jocko Hydrate. It's really good. And there's a few other ones like out there too, like Mountain Tough has some really good hydration packets as well. So maybe consider looking to some of those. But electrolytes and salt in the water, really good for getting good optimal hydration first thing in the morning. So that's the very first thing that I do. The next thing that I do is movement of any kind, really. Now, I typically don't like to do very, very heavy, intense workouts first thing in the morning. That's typically the type of stuff that I like to save for maybe later in the day, once I'm fully awake and my nervous system is completely turned on. But kind of getting going in the morning and getting the blood flowing, getting the oxygen to my brain and my muscles and everywhere else. I like to do movement of some kind. And lately, for me, it's been doing some form of getting distance. And what I mean by that is right now I'm training for an ultra marathon. So in the morning, that's when I'm either running, I might just do like a walk, or in the case of this morning, during my morning routine, I decided to do a ruck march with a 30-pound weighted vest. So that's what I'm doing right now is I'm, getting some distance in because I'm working towards a goal of getting at least 12,000 steps in every single day. So for my movement as of late, that's what it entails. But really, movement of any kind is what I usually like to do for this. And when I'm traveling and I'm staying in a hotel room and maybe the fitness center there doesn't really have very much in the way of equipment or whatnot, I'll just do maybe like some shadow boxing in my room, maybe just do like some calisthenics. I usually travel with my portable pull-up bars that I put in my door frame. So I'll maybe do some pull-ups and crank out some burpees, whatever the case may be, or, and, sometimes I'll even like put on some music and I'll just bust a move around, my hotel room just as well too, or even here in my living room at home. So either way, just getting some good movement in, like I said, just kind of gets the blood flowing, gets oxygen to the brain, and is just part of a good way to get going in the day, especially, with a physical job like mine as an archaeologist. And I typically go out to the field a lot, and I'll either be doing a lot of digging or I'll be having to do a lot of walking up and down construction sites doing monitoring. So that just kind of helps prime everything for the day. Now, the third thing that I include in my morning routine, and again, this can fall like anywhere amongst these three, and that as I do some form of mindfulness or gratitude practice. And I've done a previous episode talking about the importance of, finding gratitude and expressing gratitude. And that's what I do in the morning just as well too. Again, just to get my mind in the right place to really go on to the day. And I feel like where gratitude really comes into this is that, even if I do face some tough things during the day, at least I've already thought about things that I'm grateful for just to kind of counteract those negative thoughts that may come later in the day. And sometimes for me, that just really boils down to the basics. Like I said, the first thing that I do in the morning is I drink water, I hydrate. And immediately I could feel grateful for the fact that a basic need has already been met. And I can also feel grateful that when I woke up in the morning, I got to look up at a ceiling rather than the sky, meaning that I had shelter and that I was protected from the elements. And then, of course, I can further this gratitude practice by making myself a nice, clean, healthy breakfast with the foods that I chose for myself rather than just whatever I could, get my hands on. And so those are things that I'm grateful for, is that my basic needs are met. And if I have my basic needs met, then anything else that comes during the day, hey, I can handle it, no problem. My needs are already met. Or mindfulness can also come in a couple of other different forms, like I've mentioned. And for instance, for me today, for my own routine, is when I was doing my ruck march, I was listening to an inspirational podcast and getting some good value. Just letting my brain take in some good, valuable information that I could implement for myself moving forward. I wasn't bogging down my brain with current events and all the negativity that's happening in the world right now, because I don't think that dwelling on that really serves me necessarily. I like to be informed, but not consumed by any of that stuff. So just putting some good, positive information into my brain, again, just sets that good tone that I can carry into the rest of the day. And that's really it. That's really the three main things that I do for my morning routine. And will I throw some other things in there from time to time if they're available to me? Well, sure. But these three things I know I can do anywhere, no matter where I might be waking up each thing in the morning. So yeah, like I said, I'm here at home right now. I could be traveling for work, or I could be traveling to visit family, or I could be just traveling for leisure. But no matter where I go and no matter where I wake up, I know I can always do at least these 3 things to really get my day off to a good note. So let's go ahead and recap these one more time. So the first thing that I do when I wake up in the morning is hydration. I kill a liter of water right away. And I'll also have like an electrolyte drink mix with maybe like some sea salt thrown in there. And then the second thing that I do is movement of some kind. That could be as simple or as complex or as light or as difficult as you'd like to make it. That's obviously really going to be up to you. And the third thing that I do is I do some gratitude practice or mindfulness practice in some way, shape, or form. All right, everyone. So that's my morning routine. I hope you found this episode insightful. And what are you doing for your morning routine right now? Connect with me. Hit me up on social media. I'm most active on Instagram. My handle there is @allaroundadventure. That's just one word with no dashes. So when you're done listening to this, shoot me a message and let me know what you do for your own morning routine. And I'm also curious that if any of the things that I just mentioned make a part of your morning routine as well. Other than that, I really thank you all for taking the time for joining me today. Again, I greatly appreciate it, and I certainly don't take for granted. And be sure to check in next Monday when I release a brand new episode featuring another fantastic guest. Other than that, let's go ahead and get into this week. Let's go ahead and crush it. Make it a good one, y'all. See you next time.